Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited for you to be sharing and engaging in the conversation. Can you tell a little bit about what you're going to be sharing with our participants today and maybe some key takeaways you're hoping that they take away with them?
Great, yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. My work looks at critical media literacy, and the goal is to help teachers and students think more critically about all the media that they engage with, that they read, they see, they hear, and that they create. And AI is one element of that we also need to be thinking critically about. And so one of my goals is to help people recognize that, artificial intelligence, algorithms, ChatGPT, all these different tools are forms of media. They're created by people. And anything created by a human has a bias, has different subjectivities. And so we need to recognize that algorithms, even though they're numbers and that math is involved, they're not objective or neutral. And the more we can start to be questioning what are the biases, what are the advantages and disadvantages of all of these different tools, the more likely we'll be able to make more informed, more intelligent decisions.
So what are some of the questions that teachers should be thinking about as they're using, whether it's ChatGPT or another platform?
So we use a framework of 6 questions that start to unpack the construction of media. And so one of the questions would be, well, who created it? Who are the different people that were involved making choices? Another question is, what languages are being used? What are the different techniques or codes that are part of this particular medium? Getting them to think about the audiences, how different audiences will make different interpretations of the same message. Looking at the biases and what's represented and what's missing. A lot of times when we don't think of what's not there, that can be communicating an even bigger message than what we're actually being told and seeing in front of us. We need to also question the motive. Why is this being created? Oftentimes we forget that commercial media is primarily created for a commercial motive, which is profit. And when we think of algorithms and search engines as being free tools, we lose the ability to recognize that they're not really free, that they're actually making tremendous profits off of our data. And by collecting and being able to sell our personal information, they're generating billions of dollars, being some of the largest corporations in the world. So recognizing these different elements of the construction and who's benefiting and who's being hurt.
You're out there talking to teachers, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the fears that you're hearing when they start thinking about use of AI?
It's such a new thing. I'm hearing very different pieces from different people. Some people feel like this has nothing to do with me. Other people are feeling afraid that, well, now everything's going to be plagiarized. I'll never know if the student's really creating something authentic or just cheating. So I think we're seeing so many different pieces, and it's such a new realm right now that I think we don't really know just how to proceed and what are the advantages and disadvantages that we can have. So I think it's important that we're open to exploring, but exploring with a critical lens.
And what would be your advice to educators as they try to start to navigate it?
To remember that it's not neutral, that all information has a bias, to recognize that a lot of the stuff is being organized by corporations, that their primary intent is not just to help educators, but is to make money. And so to be able to question, what are the motives, what are the different implications, and what are the advantages? Who's being hurt by this, and who's being helped by this, and how can we really kind of use this in a more critical way?
And lastly, you're passionate about education. So what do you think are some of the opportunities potentially for students and teachers in education?
I think it's tremendous. There's so much that we don't know, so many ways that this can support us doing the type of things we want to do. But I think one of the key things is to remember that education is about process, not product. And oftentimes we forget that when we think, oh no, they have to write this essay and we're going to just score that essay, or they have to create this product and we're just going to evaluate the product. I think the more we can focus on the process of learning and be evaluating and supporting that process, the less likely AI is going to be a problem, the more likely AI will be a useful tool.
That's an awesome thing to share. Thank you so much for sharing and joining us today and for giving us your time.
Thank you very much.